Hey guys, we got Castlevania Requiem again. What a great little collection this is. It's only 2 games, but the 2 games are great. It's like 2 huge classics. So, yeah, I'd say it's a good collection. I'm almost, I'm mostly done with my practices for the day. I had said 12:45 for a middle pillar. Not sure if I'm going to end up doing it at that time because I did one early. I did like a practice early. And that's probably going to fall, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, be unapologetic you. Be you. Plenty of people want you to not be you. You want to be you. I know it's very sort of common advice, but I think it's sort of insincerely given common advice often, because often when people say, be yourself, if you were to say, well, what if myself were critical of certain groups that that it's not popular to be critical of in certain contexts anyway, or rather, what if I myself were honest about things that it's not popular to be honest about? Let's just actually put it that way, because that's probably the best way to put it. Well, that is that would be inconvenient for someone telling you to be yourself, and I think they'd probably say, well, don't be awful. And it's like, all right, well, then you're calling me awful and you're calling honesty awful, etc. Because I bet in a lot of cases someone who says just be yourself would also end up saying like hey man, like, actually, I didn't mean be yourself, if yourself means entertaining that there might be more going on than what they tell us on TV. But see, the thing is, that's the you that you would be hiding anyway. So then their admonition or their advice to be yourself is, it's meaningless, because the yourself that you would be hiding is the yourself that they would want you to hide anyway. And actually, it sort of works both ways, because then they're also probably subtly encouraging you, or would advocate maybe that you would be a way that actually doesn't feel natural, but society will push you to act in certain ways. Like, it pushes girls to sleep around, it pushes guys to think they're gay, it pushes people to act in all sorts of ways that I think people are actually naturally uncomfortable with. And then they have this whole bullshit about a comfort zone, and it's just an abomination of factors coming in saying do this, do that, and none of them feel comfortable, and they say just be yourself, as in just do all these things because that's really you. But that's not you. Or it may not be anyway. And so what I'm saying is, indeed, be unapologetic you. And be you all the fucking way. All the way. Whatever it is, be you all the way. I'm not suggesting anything specific, but I am saying be you all the way. And I think if you're you all the way, you're going to be a really good person, because guess what? All the facades, all the mockery, all this and that, most of the people who are pretty shitty people, you'll often find that they aren't very authentic. In fact, I doubt you could really find a shitty person who's also authentic. You might say, well, what about Donald Trump? He's not that authentic, man. You think he fucking tells the truth all the time? Like, what about X celebrity or Y celebrity who appear to be, like, kind of a renegade? Like, what about Jim Carrey? You think Jim Carrey's that fucking authentic? I think Jim Carrey's got a story a mile long. And yeah, Jim, I say that in the context of seeing that you've been following Eckhart Tolle, and that's great. And I think Jim has said interesting things. And actually, part of the Jim Carrey story kind of helped me. My dad told me about it, but I think my dad got the number wrong too. Or Mandela effect, who knows? But I think my dad said, like, Jim Carrey, when he was younger, he had written out a check to himself for like $1 million, I think my dad said. I think Jim said it was 10 million, maybe in something I saw. Mandela effect, who knows? But anyway, then basically he wrote a check to himself for a certain amount of money, and like I think he put it on the ceiling above his bed, and so every day, like when he woke up and before he went to sleep, he would see it, and maybe he'd think about it. And Estelle Richter, etc., people, she was talking about, I think, Neville Goddard there in that way, but Estelle Richter talks about like, hey, like you're well off if you spend some time before you go to sleep thinking about the day you'd like to have and feeling good about tomorrow, etc. That's like, she's like, basically you set yourself up for whatever day you're gonna have when you do that. And perhaps, I'm not sure how true that is all the time, and I guess go to Neville Goddard maybe for more, if not Estelle, but I think perhaps that adds to the power of what he did, where he put it above his bed, as far as I remember. It wasn't like in his wallet where he'd look at it during the day, although that might be powerful. It wasn't here, maybe it wasn't there, maybe it was above his bed. And so before bed, and when he woke up, he would be maybe seeing that and maybe thinking about it, at least some of the time, maybe. And look at him. But I'm not saying he's a very authentic person. And I'd say probably point to every single bad person you could ever imagine, and every single last one of them won't be authentic.